Palestine, a land with thousands of years of history, where great civilizations and religions converge, has become the center of a complex conflict that no peace treaty has been able to fully resolve. This is not merely an issue of borders or politics, but also part of a divine plan prophesied thousands of years ago. For centuries, world leaders, empires, and nations have tried to control this land, yet the solution has always been out of reach. This raises the question, could the reason that no solution has succeeded be that the Palestinian conflict is not destined to be resolved by human hands? According to the Bible, this struggle is not merely a political or territorial issue, but also one of prophecy. 2. The land of Canaan and God's promise. To understand the biblical origins of Palestine, we must first return to the land of Canaan, which the Bible describes as the inheritance God promised to Abraham and his descendants. The land of Canaan, corresponding to modern-day Israel and Palestinian territories, was inhabited by various tribes and peoples before the Israelites arrived. These peoples, collectively known as the Canaanites, played an important role in the biblical narrative as the inhabitants of the land promised to the descendants of Abraham. In Genesis 15:16, God informs Abraham that his descendants will inherit the land of Canaan, but only after the iniquity of the Canaanites has reached its full measure. This indicates that God's decision to give the land of Canaan to the Israelites was not only a promise, but also a judgment against the Canaanites for their wickedness. 3. The Philistines and the origin of the name Palestine. The Philistines, a people originally from the Aegean region who had a significant influence on the land of Palestine, are the source of the modern name for this land. According to archaeological and non-biblical historical research, the Philistines were migrants from the island of Crete and other areas surrounding the Aegean Sea, including the islands and coasts of Greece, Turkey, and neighboring regions around the 12th century BC. They settled in the coastal areas of Canaan, establishing 5 powerful cities: Gaza, Ashkelon, Ashdod, Ekron, and Gath. To elaborate, the Aegean Sea was the center of many ancient civilizations, and the Philistines were among the groups that migrated from this region to what is now Palestine. Thus, the promised land Canaan had been inhabited by the Canaanites for a long time before the Israelites arrived and settled there after leaving Egypt under the leadership of Moses and then Joshua, as recorded in the books of Exodus and Joshua. Shortly thereafter, the Philistines migrated to the region of Canaan around the 12th century BC. The Israelites and the Philistines clashed because both groups sought control over the land of Canaan, a land rich in resources and with a strategically significant geographical position. The Israelites viewed this land as the one promised by God to their forefather Abraham and desired to settle there, while the Philistines, with their military power, also sought to expand their influence in the region. These conflicts were not merely military, but also spiritual in nature. The Philistines were depicted as representatives of forces opposing God's people, the Israelites. This implies that the Philistines' confrontation with the Israelites was not solely about territorial disputes, but also reflected a spiritual conflict and differences in worship between the two groups. 4. Jerusalem and its prophetic role. Not only is the land of Canaan significant, but Jerusalem also holds great importance in terms of religion, history, and politics. It plays a special role in biblical prophecy. Jerusalem was chosen by God to establish his name, and it is the city where King David established his throne and where King Solomon built the temple, the center of worship for the Israelites. According to prophecy, Jerusalem will be the place where Jesus will return to reign as the King of Kings. The reason Jerusalem was chosen may be due to its unique geographical position, situated between major nations and civilizations. This would facilitate the spreading of God's message to the world. Jerusalem is also the place where prophets, kings, and later the Messiah have played and will play roles in the history of humanity, reflecting a strong spiritual connection between God and humankind. In the book of Zechariah 12:2-3, the Lord declares that he will make Jerusalem a cup of trembling unto all the people round about, and that all that burden themselves with it shall be cut in pieces. The phrase, a cup of trembling unto all the people round about, implies that Jerusalem will cause fear and unease among the neighboring nations, possibly due to conflicts and disputes over the land. The part, all that burden themselves with it shall be cut in pieces, indicates that any nation or force attempting to control Jerusalem will face great difficulties and potentially severe consequences. The overall meaning of this prophecy emphasizes the uniqueness and sacred significance of Jerusalem, warning that any effort to occupy or control the city will inevitably lead to instability and conflict. Jerusalem is seen as the place where God has put his name and holds an important role in prophecies concerning the future. Therefore, this city remains at the center of events relating to the history and future of humanity, particularly in a religious and spiritual context. This prophecy seems very fitting with today's events, as Jerusalem remains at the center of international tensions. 5. Prophecy of the final conflict. In Revelation 16:16, it is prophesied that the nations of the world will gather for a final battle in the Valley of Armageddon, located in what is today the land of Palestine. This decisive battle is seen as a confrontation between forces opposing God and his people in the context of the end times. The past conflicts between the Israelites and the Canaanites, Philistines, are considered precursors to the ongoing confrontation between the Jews and the Palestinians today. These battles are not merely political, but also spiritual struggles over the destiny of God's chosen people and his covenant promise to them. 6. Hope for future peace. Although the conflict continues, the Bible offers a ray of hope for peace in the region through prophecies of reconciliation and prosperity among nations. Specifically, these prophecies emphasize that peace will come when neighboring nations unite in worship and live in harmony. In Isaiah 19:23-25, the prophet envisions a future where Egypt, Assyria, including parts of modern-day Palestine, and Israel will live in harmony. The prophecy states that Egypt, Assyria, and Israel will be a blessing on the earth, and that the Lord will bless them. This suggests that in the future there will be a time when reconciliation and peace occur between Israel and its neighboring nations, including the Palestinians. This reconciliation is seen as part of the ultimate peace plan prophesied by God, where nations will coexist in peace and prosperity under his care. 7. The return of the Messiah and ultimate peace. According to the Bible, true peace in the land of Palestine will not come through political negotiations, but will only occur when the Messiah returns. The Messiah, considered God's chosen one endowed with divine authority, will bring salvation and peace to humanity. For Christians, the Messiah is Jesus Christ, and upon his return, he will establish God's kingdom on earth and inaugurate a new era where justice and peace will prevail. Jesus will stand on the Mount of Olives, defeat the nations gathered against Jerusalem, and establish God's kingdom on earth. When the Messiah returns, he will bring justice for all peoples, including the Palestinians. In Isaiah 2:4, the prophet describes a time when he will judge between the nations and will settle disputes for many peoples. They will beat their swords into plowshares and their spears into pruning hooks. Nation will not take up sword against nation, nor will they train for war anymore. This is the ultimate vision of peace, when the conflict in Palestine will be resolved, not through human efforts but through God's intervention. The conflict in Palestine is not merely a political or territorial issue, but is part of a divine plan prophesied in the Bible thousands of years ago. According to the Bible, the hope for peace will only come when the Messiah returns and establishes justice for all nations. In the context of the escalating tensions today, this prophecy serves as a point of reference, emphasizing that true peace can only be achieved through divine intervention, overcoming the conflicts and disputes humanity faces. Thank you for watching this video. Please subscribe to the channel to continue following more informative content and exploring the mysteries of the Bible. God always be with you.